Okay, so now this video is from Auntie Natasha, and probably just to put in perspective and why I'm calling out.
First of all, before I continue with this video, after giving the content creator 5 billions, more people are coming out to also ask a hand from the regime for help because they are doing content. And one of the people is none other than J.K. KAZOORA. He came out and said these statements. Listen very carefully because they're going to form a base for a discussion.
I don't want people to think that so Edwin Karugire, the husband, happens to be an uncle to my wife Patricia. So, you know, growing up and saying Uncle Edwin, Auntie Natasha, but you know, also Precious, by the way, happens to be my kid sister. We are literally like blood, you know, neighbors. Precious is grandfather Mzee Kayangire and my grandfather Eno KAZOORA were mates, but he was a little bit, I think, 2 years older. So when they are taking them for the World War II to fight, Mzee Kayangire didn't go because he was a bit younger. So my grandfather Eno KAZOORA fought in the Second World War and even came back. They still, you know, became mates and all that. So yeah, you know, some of you may not think that I'm part of the KAZOORA family because I've been in Muyaye and these things and what. People thinking that I'm a Muyaye. We're going to discuss content. And first of all,
let's first go slowly. That is J. KAZOORA, one of the sons of the freedom fighters. Before he made this case, he came out to say the background of his family and the relationship he has with the first family, that is Natasha. I keep on telling people that in negotiation, you first introduce yourself and give leverage. That's what he just did. Okay, he first talked about himself, family, relationship between their family and Natasha, etc. So after the content creators getting 5 billion, he's coming out to pitch his own cause. He came out in that way. He first talked about himself, introduced. I think that video was a communication to the powers that be, because the video is going to be seen, trust me, to tell them that, look, I'm part of you. So let's continue.
Thank you so much. You know, the 5 billion are looking out for the Kasukus and all those guys. It's brilliant. I'm so happy they get the money. They do things, buy houses. Because I don't think they'll do much content, but you know, I'm happy. And this small kindness that you've done, it could turn out to be your legacy. It could turn out to be something so great that now us who do real content that have been in the game are saying, okay, I think it's time for us also to make some noise. Because what the Kasukus do, paying Tamale Junior, or the I don't know, those guys, it's tabloid, it's gossip, it's I call them clickbait content, call them myopic agents. And Kasuku, I've not abused you in, well, I'm a student of real estate, so they like, what numbers are called useful idiots.
So first of all, before you continue, when J.K. KAZOORA comes out to say that he was happy for the content creators to get 5 billion, and he now comes that he was happy, and he now comes out to call them myopic agent, basically pouring water on them. It disqualifies the first comment of saying that he was happy. It shows that he wasn't happy that these people got money, and that is the problem of it. Sometimes if you want to pitch your own business, you don't need to come out and pour water on someone's work. It is the truth. Come and you pitch your business, because I know if indeed the government wants to support content creation, another batch of people can go to State House and they get a hand. Even another group of digital marketers can go and get a group of a hand from the state. Secondly, calling them myopic agents, content is so wide. There are those in mainstream media, there are those on social media, Twitter, etc. Being in a different type of content doesn't necessarily mean that people doing other types of content don't add value. It is the truth. So let's continue with what J.K. KAZOORA was saying.
Those terms are there, so you can Google about myopic agents. You know, it's like a bubble, because the content they do, yes, but it's a bubble, you know. And again, the people they are speaking to, the CD class Probably if you also want to understand the economics of people like probably earn 500,000 and below, but the ABC class, the new generation that is coming, they do not know these guys. My children do not know. Precious, your children, they don't know the Kasukus. They do not know these people because they speak in Luganda. They are always on gossip.
So let's also take it slow. One, the biggest target market General Museveni is looking for are those people. Secondly, the content that is done in Uganda sells out more because almost 80% of people in Uganda understand Luganda. It is the truth. I understand there are some people who may not know them, but those are the minority. And a person who's looking for numbers like General Kaguta Museveni, if I'm looking for numbers, trust me, there is no way I can go to KAZOORA, who speaks English, live in Kasuku. It is the truth. It is the truth. Look around in America. The people Donald Trump, the people that helped Donald Trump shift the elections were the social media. The Tuckers, the ETC, the Joe Rogan. They are even known on mainstream media. They do gossip. They speak about fighters, celebrities, etc. And that's where the numbers are. So if the regime is looking for numbers, there is no any way they can look for KAZOORA. And they don't look out for Dr. Sefoko, for Uncle Chumi, okay? For Zaira Baby, for Kasuku. Trust me, there is no way if you are looking for numbers. And not only by there in Uganda, go in Kenya. People on TikTok and YouTube have more numbers. There are some social media platforms who have bigger followings than media stations, mainstream media stations. There are individuals who have billion likes on TikTok. On TikTok here we have followers, people who have following of 20, 15 million. So if I'm looking for numbers, there's no way I can come to KAZOORA who has a station that is followed by 200k people. So KAZOORA, the first mistake you made is pouring out on the other people. If KAZOORA indeed was feeling happy for the 5 billion, what you had to do is, first of all, be happy that they got 5 billion, but also pitch for your business without pouring out on the other people. Because trust me, if numbers come out, you cannot compare your projects with these people. The TikTok fraternity have billions in views and likes compared to the mainstream media. Not only in Uganda, but also in other countries. A survey was done in America that people are shunning away from mainstream media. And the viewership of mainstream media has fallen. Now I think it's 55%. People are getting their news, they're getting their happiness, they're getting everything on social media. Trust me, if you go on social media, depending on the content you like, you'll find actors, series. A person does series from Monday to Monday. You'll find dancers, you'll find gossips, you'll find political analysts, you'll find tourism adventures, a variety. Just on your phone like this with your small data. But let's continue with KAZOORA.
Beats people who cheat on, they don't, that generation is coming. Yeah, I went to NBS with my children. They did not know anybody. They didn't know Douglas. They didn't know MCK. They just together. Do you know nothing? The only person my children knew was Samson Kasum. But I asked him, I said, why? Because of mommy. I think she watches news. So you can see we have a whole generation. But when we talk about content, look at what's even on TVs today. Yeah, in the morning start with the church, then go to sports, gym, then the myopic agents start another talk show, then they can have a repeat, then have some bit of music, lunchtime news or lunchtime sports, everyone on that, then they'll have a movie, then now everyone 5 to 7 music shows, another myopic agents.
First of all, pouring water on people who do gospel shows is maybe you don't understand content. Different people have different desires. There are some people who will see one show on TV, a gospel show. He won't see news. There are some people who will just wait for news for him to sleep. So for a TV station, it must build its own program to cater for different audiences. So for you to call gossip shows myopic agents, you don't know what it means. Everyone has something he's looking for. And you may be surprised that these myopic agent shows get a lot of traffic in advertising revenue than any other show. So KAZOORA should understand that you don't have to dim somebody's light for you to light up yours. Calling them myopic agents, the reason is why do you think Yoweri Museveni is stupid, sitting down and looking for these people when he doesn't know the value? Do you know that people who were on the media tour of General Kaguta Museveni, they covered more than even the mainstream media? Because for the mainstream media, it will first get content, wait for 9 p.m. to show. These people were showing content in real time. In fact, the first person who knew the power of social media in politics was Bobi Wine. It's the reason why in 2021 they fought hard to remove social media platforms from him so that they can do violence. So, whereas KAZOORA has a right to pitch for support for people who do content, for people who are streamlined to have media houses like Kriko, etc. There are some people who have built their thing, a small social media house. They also need help, but he should desist from pouring water on others, because the people you are pouring water on have the most following, have the most traffic, have the content that moves. In fact, it's the reason why government is planning hard to tap in those numbers to serve their agenda. Let's continue with KAZOORA to understand this.
Or even 15 production companies that have been doing content for many years. I came in with Magic 1 HD. We were number one. We shook this nation. We shook NTV, shook NBS. But I couldn't take it on. It failed. The same thing I'm seeing with Ali Khan, my brother. Energy Radio, he's doing massively well. But he can't continue 4 years, 5 years, paying salaries and what? It won't make business sense. So there's a way we need to come and help these production companies that are producing massive stuff. I can give you people like Lukman. I can give you people like Raymond Malinga. There's a company called Rico Animations. They just have 300 million likes on TikTok doing animations. Yes, I know people that are doing fantastic content in this country. Yeah. So we are going to create a SACCO, and we're going to come here and say, this approach is going to be serious. Number one is we need to scale and say, okay, we're going to scale.
So first of all, I agree that there are some production companies like Energy Radio. By the Energy Radio is across East Africa. It's a radio station, but I think it's online. Those people need support, of course, because they pay salaries, they pay taxes, etc. I agree with the KAZOORA to support such entities. But what I disagree is for KAZOORA to do, for not understanding the power of these people who Yoweri Museveni picked. I can give you an example. I can give you 100 TikTokers who have more views, more likes, more following than Energy Radio. I can give you, in fact, some stories that are done on Energy Radio are gotten from TikTok. I'm not download playing Energy Radio. They need support. But as production houses pit for businesses, diseased from pouring water on TikTokers, YouTubers, because they have more influence, they have more following, they have more likes. Trust me. So I agree with KAZOORA. Production houses also need help. They can pitch for business, but of course, it also depends on the priority of the regime. This is my thinking. One, government doesn't have a plan of uplifting content creation because authoritarian, they cannot support content creation. It is a threat for their regime. The more you give them support and everything, you are enabling free speech. Even mainstream media is being twisted. So it is just, there will remain handouts to control them. If a country indeed had an aim or an ambition of uplifting content creation, a bill will be moved on in Parliament. Budgets will be made for content creation. But a handout in State House, that's why it's the reasons why KAZOORA started by calling upon Natasha. Because they know you cannot call the minister of ICT because you know he doesn't have power. You have to call the president's daughter. in a structured conversation, we would actually call the Minister of ICT because he's the one who presents the budget of the ministry to Parliament. So all in all, you can also pitch to get something, but in a broader good, government is not aiming at uplifting the content creation. Of course, that's my opinion. I mean, it's truly Mr. Makindi, Sulaiman Magli. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I'm motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.